Welcome to Down to Earth Astrology and Primal Girl Wellness. This is Ms. Jenny, and I am your astrologer. And today we're going to do a brief Astrology Investigates for a really interesting case. It's kind of a fun thing to watch, right? Well, fun and not fun. So apparently there's a story coming out of Alabama about a female security guard and a male inmate that have escaped together. And all of the friends, of course, are saying, well, she would never do something like that. I mean, it must have been love. Because, we want to see the better sides of our peers and our friends. And, of course, the employers and the sheriff's department are mystified. Like, did she really do this on her own, or was she forced? Did he make her do it? And then, of course, everything indicates that this was an extremely well-planned, long thought-out, organized escape. So I'm kind of thinking she went along with it willingly. There's definitely more than he and her involved, depending on how you look. I think actually that's not true. I think it's just the two of them primarily. And I listened between you and me. I thought about it a lot, and I looked at the chart, right? And I hate to say it, but I really think that she loves him. Or thinks that they have a love relationship. Maybe they do. Bad people get people who love them all the time, even when they don't deserve it. Lord knows we've got enough kids who don't have mothers or fathers because of domestic violence, whose parents thought that the other person loved them right up until they killed them. So, maybe that's it. Okay, so anyway. So I'm doing this because apparently they're supposedly offering, a $5,000 and $10,000 reward to find these people. Now, clearly, I'm not going to be able to pinpoint exactly where they are, but I can certainly send them in the right direction, maybe. And also, it's good practice for Harari. So let's work on the puzzle and see what we get. And I'll certainly be sending this off to them as well, because she is not safe with him, and it may not necessarily because he is a danger as much as the people around them will prove to be a danger for her. And if this really is a case of, true love bubbles time because she's such a big, squishy, submissive, needs a man to follow, he-man, alpha male, whatever. He's not the ideal candidate for that. So, and I feel kind of bad for her. So let's take a look at it. Okay, so for those of you following along at home, if you want to set the chart up, the escape occurred on Friday, April 29, 2022, in Florence, Alabama. That's where the jail is located. And according to the timeline that's given to the public, at 9:41 a.m. is when she took the inmate to a van to drive him to a mental health appointment, which did not exist. Interestingly, she had also filed her retirement or resignation, like her final working papers. That day, that Friday, was officially her last day on the job because she was resigning or retiring, something like that. And supposedly left early because she had a dentist appointment after she dropped him off for his visit or something, which of course she also didn't have. So, April 29, 2022, 9:41 a.m. in Florence, Alabama. This is set up correctly with the Regiomontis chart, for those of you who are sticklers about accurate charts. Okay, now there's a little bit of a caveat here because this is not technically a Harari. A Harari we're doing separate from the time an event occurs. This is more of an event chart. But we're still going to use a lot of the rules of Harari when we do this. So the planetary hour, which gives us confirmation or indication of what's going on and what we're looking at, is Saturn, and Cancer rises on the chart. So the chart ruler is the moon. The moon is, and that's why I think these two, really, there is a relationship there, and she went willingly. The moon rules the chart because Cancer rises. The moon's at 24 Aries, and it is an exact sextile to Saturn, which rules that 7th house. So she and he are working in very successful coordination and easy coordination with each other. Now, what's interesting about this event chart, and I'm not completely sure what this is, right? So we've got Jupiter, Venus, and the moon all clustered together in the 10th house, and Mars up there as well, but not quite so close. And Mars is in the 9th. So there are some things between them, and these might be representative of people. So the first thing I'm looking at was Jupiter, Venus, and Neptune in Pisces up near the 10th house. I would suspect that they are heading in, I think that's south. They're definitely heading to a shore or a coastline, right? So I would look for water, large bodies of water, but definitely towards a coast. Now, with Jupiter, Venus, and Neptune together like that, and closer to her side of the chart in the 10th house, I would suspect that these are relatives or distant relatives of hers that may be involved in it. So I would, if it were me, I would look at any distant relatives she has, former in-laws, as well as second cousins, third cousins, things of that nature, that live, especially ones that live near like the Gulf, or any of the coasts. Let me check the directions on this for a second. Hang on. So actually, remember I said that Mars is there, but in the other house. So I'm pretty sure I saw a picture of the van that they were driving in that was abandoned, not very far away. And interestingly, Mars, the van was red. So if we use that, I would suspect that the next vehicle that they're taking, see, and this still looks like boats, right? Boats, houseboats. The next vehicle they take is going to be the colors of water, right? Blues and blue greens and greens, and some whites. So whatever it is that they've changed over to it, it may be a couple of vehicles. We're looking at blues, blue greens, or whites, the colors of the ocean. But I'm telling you, I think they're heading to the water. So this may be a houseboat or a boat and a houseboat that they're going towards, and it looks like they're heading in a southern direction. But with all this Pisces, typically what you have, oh excuse me, because all that Pisces also is sextiling Mercury, which is at 29 degrees. Interesting. But with all that Pisces, typically what you get are not wastelands, you get very fertile lands. So things where there's lots of water and lots of abundant growth, but also poor things. Isolated things that are poor, like poverty stricken sort of stuff. So they may actually, they're only headed to one of two places. It's either Mexico or Florida. Don't see them getting to Cuba anytime soon. Now, with that said, Mercury is at the 29th degree and it rules the 12th house, which would be the escape. And this is a last chance sort of thing. And you know what? I will bet she's not safe. She is not safe. This man, he's got a vendetta. He's got business he wants to take care of while he's out. And nothing good is going to come of this. So Mercury is trying Pluto. Pluto's on the 7th, 8th house cup. I wonder if he's going to pay his lawyer a visit. I wouldn't want to be his lawyer. If he had a lawyer, whoever was representing him, okay, I'm going to bet you good money that person, male or female, that attorney is on the list this guy is looking for. Ooh, not good, not good. Okay. All right, so now I'm not even going to try and do a horary chart. I'm just going to read the chart the way I read charts. Okay, so what I'm seeing here, one, is that she went voluntarily, she went willingly, she's got the mind of a child, right? So it's a very innocent, gullible, and bored, like she was looking for excitement, right? Which, I can imagine, good Lord, I mean, there's not a whole lot to do down in Florence, Alabama. And she's probably very submissive. So she's all about, men in charge sort of thing. So she's looking for the big, bad boy, the alpha. Boy, does she get one. And they're in lockstep formation. This is a very organized and easy thing for them to do. They get along very, very well with each other, which is kind of frightening, isn't it? So just goes to show sometimes your heart and your gonads aren't necessarily the best judges of character. Now, he's got Saturn in Aquarius representing him, and we've got the Sun, which rules men, also conjuncting Uranus, and Uranus disposits that Saturn, blah, blah, blah. So what this describes to me is somebody who has impulse control issues. This is a dangerous man because he simmers, right? So the square with Sun, Uranus, and Saturn gives us it gives us some issues, and one of them is that this person like holds things in and holds things in and holds things in and then blows up, like literally explodes. But by the time you get to the explosion part, they're not even rational at that point. So he is volatile. He's very self-controlled until he's not. Then he loses his crap and people get hurt. So I'm just saying, if I was whoever was representing him in court when he lost and went to prison, I would not want to be him, because he's also not necessarily going to see that he should have received as much time or any time that he did. He's still going to make that person who he feels should have represented him better responsible for a lot of this. That's not good. All right, so again, the red vehicle, Mars is red. I thought that was kind of interesting. Nice correlation there. And if the Mars represents the vehicle, the red vehicle that we're seeing in the news, that means that the next thing I'm seeing that was sandwiched between them is a different vehicle. And again, this is water. Jupiter, Venus, and Neptune, Pisces. This is water. So I'm thinking they're either on a boat or a houseboat. Now, I don't know anything about Alabama, or certainly not that particular part of Alabama. I'll look it up a little later. But if you know, certainly put it in the comment section. But they're headed to a waterway, and they might actually find themselves holding up inside a houseboat. But I don't know if there's a coast or a shore that close to them there. All right. Now, also, too, this doesn't look like it's going to take very long for the situation to change. And what will happen, if I'm reading this correctly, is they're going to split up. So she thinks this is, true love bubbles times forever, but I don't think that's the way it's going to go. They're going to get separated. So she may be left behind, or she may decide to leave. But certainly that relationship will hit its strain, obviously. Like, that's no surprise there. But it will cleave them. It will separate them, which is good or bad, depending on how you look at it, because it looks like within 11 days, I'm guessing on the time here, it's 11 days or 11 weeks, maybe months, but I doubt that, more like days or weeks. 11 days or 11 weeks, that is when things will get dicey, and it looks like there's going to be some blood spilled, right? Because Mars also rules knives and blood. And Mercury right now, at the time they did this escape, was at 29 Taurus, the degree of weeping sisters. And that's never fun. Jesus, that is never fun. So Mercury will change signs within a degree or two. So that's going to give us a day or two or a week or two. And I say that because I'm not really perfect with my timing yet. So, we'll take them both and see which one plays out. And then not long after that, because that's going to be like about 2 days or 2 weeks. And then we're looking at 8 or 9 more. So then after that, 8 to 9 days or weeks later, following whatever that is, that cleaving from each other, that fight, that's when Mercury and Mars will be in very hostile aspect to each other, with Mercury slipping down in that 12th house, Mars in the 9th. I'm going to bet you he gets caught, and the bloodshed, or the blood's being spilled, we're seeing, is going to be a shotgun. So they may catch him, they may apprehend him and shoot him as part of apprehending him in about 2 weeks. 2 days or 2 weeks. So I'm sorry, I can't be more specific than that. So as far as the directions that they're traveling in, again, heading to water, coastlines, shorelines, and it's Florida or Mexico. Wish I could figure out which one more specifically. As far as distance, they're going to cover... See, I don't think they're actually going to cover as much distance as we think they are. I think that they're going to hole up and hide. Actually not that far from where they're at. So if there's any kind of place where you would have boats docked or houseboats near Florence, like in one direction, in the direction of Mexico or Florida, where there's waterways and what is it they call it when you park your boats there? Docks, right? I would look there, because they may actually very well be hiding inside a boat, in that area, and just kind of waiting it out until things cool down. I don't think they're that far. And I don't think they're going to get that far. Now, Part forces square Neptune. Hold that thought. Let me look at this for a second. Okay. So you know what's interesting when I look at this? There is and this is unexpected, right? There is the distinct possibility that she has more control in this relationship than people realize. So it literally may be because, she's kind of dumb, and she's kind of innocent and gullible, like like a 12-year-old girl or whatever who reads too many romance novels. This overwhelming innocence and guilelessness, this gullibility, that she presents with, may very well be the saving grace that's protecting her. Now, she's not safe around him, but I don't see. Here's the thing, though. I don't think she's unsafe because of him. I don't think he's going to be dangerous for her directly. I think she is unsafe because of the danger around him, right? This whole, being in the wrong place, wrong time, accidental line of fire sort of stuff. So she's not going to be safe as long as she's with him, only because the danger present is literally around him, and she may be, what is it they call it, like casualties, right? And also, too, I'm not completely sure what the hook is here. She's got something that's leverage over him. Now, I did read that apparently she sold her house and drained all her bank accounts from, multiple locations. So she is loaded and flush with cash. But I don't think that's enough to keep her safe from him if he were an actual danger to her specifically, right? I mean, it would be a lot easier just to kill somebody and take all their money rather than have to, carry along baggage because they don't know what they're doing. You got to keep an eye on them, yada, yada, yada. They're not used to, hard life. It's a lot easier to just get rid of them, take the money and go, right? Because it's just less baggage you're carrying. But I don't think that's, I don't think that's going to happen. I could be wrong, but we'll see. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but also I'm curious as to what leverage she has over him separate from the money. There's something here that's keeping her in, that's giving her the upper hand in this situation. That's pretty interesting. I don't know what that's about. So let's see what we got here. So the last aspect of the moon in this chart as we move things around, the part of fortune, 12th house. Yeah, Florida, or whatever the nearest shore is. They're on boat, or if they're not, they will be at some point, and hiding down underneath the boat, or in the bottom of the boat. So they'll be there, and they'll get caught. I think they're going to get separated. She'll be okay. He's probably going to be the one that gets shot. And I would look for this not that long. This should move pretty fast. And also, it looks like somebody's going to spot them moving around at night. And we'll drop a dime, and that's what will bring the forces down upon them. So, Alabama, feds, if you're listening, I would start with waterways. Obviously, I don't know because I'm going to look at the map in a second, but I would look for boats and houseboats in particular. It looks like they're going to be heading south. Well, it's one of two directions. It's either Mexico or it's Florida, and I'm going to bet you good money it's Florida. I don't even know if Alabama and Florida connect to each other, but it looks like they're heading in the direction of Florida, and it's going to be by way of water. So that will be very prominent. Also, too, she's got some leverage, so she's mostly okay, but she is definitely at risk of getting hurt because she is with him. But she knew this is a full-on relationship. She knew, and she was completely sincere in her belief that this is love. I don't know, maybe it is. Who are we to judge, right? And we're looking at what did we say? Couple days, couple weeks. Oh, that's what it was. 29. Yeah, I give it another week. We should know something. This will happen fast. It won't take long to find them. So, let's keep an eye out and see what happens. And if I have anything to add to this, I will certainly put it down in the comments section below.